Lovely gondola by myself. Lovely to see you, Johnny. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure. We're in Egypt, but it's a little chilly.
No.
Andy's like on point now. He's got t-shirted up, so
I don't understand what the fuss is about. I really don't. This is normal kind of weather. I have to say though that what people don't know about that opening link you just filmed there was that he had to do that in one take because that boat was taking on water. It was taking on water, so it had to be first time or he was going to sink. But he's a pro, so he did it first time.
To be fair, I haven't left the buffet alone this week. I've been eating and eating and eating. Tell me this, Johnny Nelson. My understanding is you have come here with one opinion, and when you landed, your opinion has changed. What's going to happen on Saturday? What's going on?
You know what? I must have watched the fight about 15, 16 times over and over again. I came here on Monday morning, I thought Usyk all the way through. Usyk and Fury came in, we did an interview them both. The Fury that turned up, I like him. He should have done it in the first place. Now, there's a responsibility that comes with being a champion. Now, I understand Fury has been that good. He's been able to play the fool to catch the wise. He's been able to play the clown or play the villain, but still outbox, outfox everybody's box. He did it with the wrong person in Usyk, and it was lost in translation. He wasn't sucking in. So therefore, now he's got to depend on pure skill and ability, which he has, which I think he's neglected up to this point. Now, the Fury that I saw yesterday, what I heard, if it's not a hustle, which I don't think it is a hustle, because he's hurt, he's in Paris. The things that he said about the jumped up cat tooth middleweight never beating me, and all the abuse he gave him, the sausage, whatever he called him, you're going to look stupid, you're going to have egg on your face. But couple of things he said. Number one, he said, I've not spoken to my wife for 3 months. You know, I've taken myself away, I've not been on social media. He said, and I don't want to have egg on my face again. I know it hurt his pride. I know it made him feel less of the man he says he is. And he's put heart and soul on this. Now, the final signing will be when those two face each other at the weigh-in, if they don't bump into each other today. I want to see what his body language is like, how he is, how he acts. If he wants to play the clown and try and get in his place and entertain us a lot, I think, oh no, there he is again. I don't think he will. I believe he's going to come in around the 20 stone mark, probably just under. I believe that he's done everything right, which he should have done in the first place, to get this job done. That's what I believe. But I might change my mind by Friday.
Yeah, we'll ask you again tomorrow, the day after that, I'm sure. Andy, has your mind kept changing? Where are you with it all? What are you thinking?
It's very, very difficult to call because it was a very good fight, the first fight, but there wasn't that much in it. I thought the right person got it. So a clear enough winner for me in a very close fight. I do like the Fury that we're seeing this week.
Yeah.
He's got an edge to him. He's different to how he was in May. And I think the reason for that probably is that he goes away from the first fight and thinks to himself, if I'm going to beat this guy, I need to bring absolutely everything that I've got. And he maybe hadn't needed to do that against Dillian Whyte, greatest of respect, or against Derek Chisora. He definitely didn't feel he needed to do it against Francis Ngannou because he didn't train properly for that fight. No matter what he says, he didn't. It would have worked hard, I think, for Fury Wilder 3, but maybe there'd just been a little while before he'd had that knot of fear in him that really drives you. And he just ever so slightly underprepared for the person he had to face.
You've got the best two heavyweights in the world.
Yeah.
Technically, best two technical heavyweights in the world. Both fighters have to bring their A game. Usyk did. I don't believe Tyson Fury did. And sometimes if you're that used to being on top and nobody's telling you how it is and you're not having a reality check, you become complacent. Just like Fury did. I think that has hurt him. There's a responsibility that comes with being a champion, and it means you can play the game until the bell goes, and you've got to act like a champion, walk like a champion, talk like a champion, and fight like one. And even though he showed the champion's heart in sticking in there when he was tagging in her, he didn't show a champion's attitude. He was pulling his tongue out, playing the fool to catch wise, in the wrong place with the wrong person in the ring. So now you've got two guys. I think this fight will actually be better than the first fight. The reason why is because both fighters know I've got to bring my A game, and I think this fight will be so exciting.
Oh, I agree with you. Listen, Johnny, one of the key stories this week has been about Tyson Fury coming out and saying, I've not spoken to Paris, not one word in 3 months. Now, from a fighter's perspective, when you go to your camps, would you ever go that long without engaging with your family or loved ones?
I don't believe that. Otherwise, he's in big trouble after the fight from his wife. But I do believe he's distanced himself from being a husband, being a father. And you do that because you want to upset, you want to be angry, you want to be edgy, you want to have a bit of attitude about you.
I just want to pause you there, because Paris did come out and say, she's put out on her story, I've not spoken to him for 3 months.
And if that is the truth, that's even better. Marvin Hagler, no matter how much money he made in his career, every time he had to fight, he took himself to a dirty little bedsit in Boston. He took all the wealth that he had, all the success he had, he took himself away from that because he needed to think like a gutter rat. That means it meant he'd fight like a gutter rat. That is in a way what Tyson Fury is doing, because you need to have a chip on your shoulder. You need to fight hungry. And if you fight hungry, then you're a dangerous man. At this level, you've got the best 2 fighters in the world. He probably needed to do that to bring himself back down to ground. Back down to basics.
It's that old cliche, as you've told me many times, Andy. A lot of it just goes back to something that's happened in one of the Rocky films. Is this Tyson Fury getting the eye of the tiger back? Is that what's going on? What do you think?
Yeah, I love the Rocky analogy, because there are so many that serve a purpose, and that absolutely is the case here. Because somebody said to me once, somebody who works in sport, that elite level athletes basically survive on a diet of praise or humiliation. Praise when you win, humiliated if you lose. And when they're humiliated, they like to sit in it and breathe it in and drink it in and almost hurt until they can get their own back.
I tell you what was humiliating. When Tyson Fury signed the picture from Oleksandr Usyk of him getting hit, and he thought, why did I do that? That was humiliating.
Well, let's head over to RMC as we begin tonight's open workout. Over to Thomas Stryber.
Fury 2, a great night of World Championship boxing to be held this Saturday from the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We would first like to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the custodian of the 2 holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency, Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, Turkey Al-Sheikh. This great event is being brought to you by Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, with Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions, Bob Arum for Top Rank Incorporated, and Sella, in association with Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing and Gold Star Promotions, along with their great sponsors: Saudi Tourism Authority, Saudi National Bank, STC, Dr. Suleiman Al Habib Medical Group, Saudia Airlines, Numu Raba Development Company, Tawuniya, Lucid Motors, and Al Tanfidi. A big thanks to those great sponsors. This event will be shown worldwide and in the UK on DAZN, and also in the UK on TNT Sports Box Office and Sky Sports Box Office. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the time has arrived. Let's now get the public media workouts started. Our first 2 fighters will be competing this Saturday in a scheduled 6-round international super featherweight contest. First, we will welcome, coming to us from Cucuta, Colombia. He is a veteran of 46 professional bouts. Let's welcome Joshua Ocampo.
Well, here comes Joshua Ocampo in action on Saturday night, taking on Muhammad Alakal. Joshua Ocampo, really very much an away fighter, and it's not very often that circuit fighters, journeymen, if you will, are given this level of love, Andy. He's getting his own entrance at a workout. He got off a plane yesterday. It's quite something.
It is, and he was great at the arrivals yesterday because he just gave off all of that enthusiasm, didn't he? He talked about how you don't get these kinds of opportunities if you apply your training the way that he does, and how excited he is to be here. And you can see it now because boxing world, in a lot of ways, is only able to tick because of fighters like this. And we said it yesterday, even cards like these, the ones that Turki Al-Sheikh are putting on, they need fighters like a Campo. They need opponents in the away corner. Most of the matches are 50-50, but not every single one. So it really makes me smile to see someone like him get a chance like this and just enjoy it so much.
And what was impressive yesterday at the work at the Grand Arrivals, when he was interviewed, he gave answers in Spanish and then translated himself and gave answers in English. He's quite the man.
You've got to look at every fighter that comes on this bill. This is their mecca. This is their moment, because they think this is the place to be. I want everybody to see me. I want it to be about me. I want to be a headliner. I want to wear the big bucks. And so no matter what, if you've been given an opportunity to step in at late notice or whatever, you are going to give it. You are going to bring your best. Does that look like a man that's come to make the numbers up? I don't think so. Does he talk like one? Is he working out a little workout like one? No. So I think every fighter you see will have this hunger, this attitude, this approach.
This is only fight number 2 for young Muhammad Alakal, trained by Joe Gallagher. I wonder if Joe Gallagher's somewhere having a look at this thinking, what have we done here?
I rate Joe Gallagher. I rate Joe Gallagher's passion. I rate his attitude. And I understand Joe Gallagher, he'll struggle to tell a fib when he believes his fight is in a tough fight, but he also knows being a fight here, because he works here a lot in the Tyson gym, he knows they want excellence. They don't do no pushovers. There's no gimmicks. There are no gimmicks. So therefore, Joe Gallagher, he knows his fighter has to be on point.
Thank you very much to Joshua Ocampo.
He can ask some questions of Muhammad Alakal, this guy. Trust me, he can. He knows what he's doing.
He also looks like he doesn't really want to get out of the ring. He's loving it, Joshua Ocampo in there.
And now let's welcome, undefeated with 1 victory and hailing from right here, Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Muhammad Alakal.
Well, how good is it to hear from right here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia? He is born and bred. He is representing on the highest stage possible. Fight number 2, he had his debut on the Better Be a Bivol show. Did very well that night, looked very composed. And now the journey continues for young Muhammad Alakal.
It does. I thought he was good on debut. He's an interesting kind of lad as well, because he's quite scatty. And Joe will tell you, Joe Gallagher, if you talk to him, that, you know, when he's in the gym, he's locked in, but a lot of the time he has to remind him to do the kind of basics when it comes to day-to-day living. But preparations for him for this would have been quite interesting, because Joe Gallagher had Lawrence Okoli on the Queensbury show, and then he had Natasha Jonas, who we saw last Saturday, so he will have taken a back seat to those two. That's just inevitable when you're in a gym with a reasonably sized stable and some big name fighters. And that's just how it'll be for him early in his career.
Joe Gallagher is such an underrated coach, trainer, motivated for his fighters. He's revived Champs Camp. He's got 3 world champions there. You look at the fighters that are becoming national champions coming through from top to bottom. Joe Gallagher doesn't waste his time. And you know what? Here, out here in Saudi Arabia, they want a star. And whoever manages to break through, that's born and bred from Saudi Arabia, he will be an amazingly big, massive star here, because this is what they want. They want somebody to push forward and represent what they're trying to create here.
No, absolutely, and that's a great shout on Joe Gallagher, former Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year as well, by the way. Did very well. Had a wonderful crop of fighters. Remember when he had the Smiths, he had Scott Quigg, so many world champions, British champions.
Natasha, don't forget Natasha. Don't forget the fights that he's been putting on.
Absolutely. Look at Lawrence Okoli now. He's a 2-weight world champion. He's
Turn him around. Lawrence Okoli was in the Who Needs Him club, and after Lawrence's last performance, it's like, all right, people are sitting up. So remember, this young man has a wise man in his corner. That's only part way through his career.
It's very driven, Joe Gallagher. People will tell you that about him. Talking to Macklin about him, Matt Macklin, he says, Matt, that the best part of his career, the most successful part of his career was with Joe Gallagher because he wants it that much. You've got to want it at least as much as him, or it's not going to work. So one thing we know about Alakel at this stage of his career, we can't know how good he'll be, but what we do know is that he will have been put through the fires. And Joe Gallagher would have been happy with what he saw, or they just wouldn't be doing this.
No, absolutely, great point. Public workout number 2 for Muhammad Alakel. Let's keep things moving. Let's head back over to RMC Thomas Treiber.
Our next 2 fighters competing this Saturday in a scheduled 10-round contest. It will be for the WBC International Heavyweight Championship. First, we will welcome to the ring from El Chamizal, Ecatepec, Estado de Mexico. His professional record, 10 wins, just 1 defeat, 1 draw, 4 of those 10 wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome Edgar Ramirez.
Well, let's get a look at the first heavyweight in action tonight. At tonight's open workout, there will be several, of course, culminating in Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. But you're looking at Edgar Ramirez here, who'll be taking on a brilliant Ukrainian fighter on Saturday, and looking to start, make a bit of an impression.
Yeah, of course, and it looks like we're going to get a proper look at him here because he's gloved up, so we know he's going to get in there and in the pads. And it's always interesting when you see somebody in the flesh for the first time, because you just get a better look at the technique and a better look at the punch power, because you can hear it on the pads.
It's unassuming cold here, and so the fighters have got a big wide and smart wrap-up warm, and then through this workout here, just throw shade. What we're seeing now is addressing. This isn't any importance for the fighters. It's something they want to do to let people know we're here, introducing themselves. So you're probably not going to see much. You'll probably see a light touch of the pad work. But it also gives us a chance to see the shape and size of each fighter coming through and make a premature assessment of how we think the fighter goes. Every time I turn around, cats got their hands out.
It's very likely that this is the first public workout that this man has ever done, certainly in settings like this. And I'll tell you what, the song choice has been wonderful. Johnny Nelson, you have not stopped moving. I've even seen Andy Clark bopping his head. A little bit of exhibit here in Riyadh.
It's a great tune, this, it really is. And look at these images on the screen. It's incredible, really. I was talking to somebody about this morning, and this footage, when it's seen in 20, 30 years' time, people won't really believe it. And we'll just feel really, really lucky that we were here and we were part of this, because the visuals are absolutely extraordinary. And for him as well, when he looks back on this, hopefully it goes well for him on Saturday night. He's not expected to win the fight, but what you don't want for fighters coming in the away corner is that this becomes something they really want to forget because they get knocked out or because they have a bad experience. If they don't get the win, you want them to come away from the ring in full possession of their faculties, being able to look back on this week with a rueful smile. Because what a week for them. What a week.
What a week, and he's finishing up now, Edgar Ramirez.
Thank you very much to Edgar Ramirez.
Taking in every moment here, Edgar Ramirez will be taking on Andre Nowitzki on Saturday night. Let's head back over to our MC for the evening, Thomas Treiber.
And now let's welcome the defending champion from Odessa, Ukraine. He is undefeated with 13 wins, 10 of those 13 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the reigning and defending WBC International Champion, Andre Rampage Nowitzki.
Well, Andre Nowitzki, the man known as Rampage, is also gloved up, so it's likely we're going to see a little bit something from him. He's a towering heavyweight. Second Riyadh season appearance. Boxed on the Knockout Chaos show back in March. Remember that one, Anthony Joshua against Francis Ngannou. What a show that was. He knocked out Juan Torres in 3 rounds that night. And he'll be looking to do the job again on Saturday.
It was a good night for him back in March. He did well. He looked good. There's definitely some pedigree there. And again, you look to impress because it's winner stays on. And we said yesterday, if you're him and you're down towards the bottom of the card, then you tell yourself that with a good performance you can maybe move up a couple of rungs on that ladder. It's an interesting one for them, Johnny, though, this, because they won't have been expecting these kinds of temperatures when they were preparing. Not that they would have spent a lot of time thinking about what they would do at the open workout, but in their mind, they probably expected to come here on a nice, warm, balmy evening, nice and loose, get a sweat on without even really trying. But now they have to think about it slightly differently, and either you get in there and do absolutely nothing and get out quick, or you get in there and do something, because otherwise you'll get cold.
That's right, every fighter's coming wrapped up. Every fighter, you're right, this is part of the game. And part of the game is you've got to do it. Your opponent's in exactly the same position. So it's about mindset. It's about trying to keep everything on point. Remember, the champion's probably going to be like this on fight night. So therefore, you've got to make sure you've just got to get used to conditions you're in, because if you don't, and you try and use it as a trapdoor's an excuse, then it's the beginning of you losing. So fighters have just got to adapt. They can't complain, they've got to adapt. This is how it's got to be.
Well, he's being trained by Anatoly Duchenko, former light heavyweight. Boxed Eleider Alvarez around 10 years ago. I think that was his last fight. But he's still got that fighter and that fighting spirit within him. Whenever I get to speak to him, he speaks with a lot of menace about what his heavyweight can do, what he's going to do to the division, what he's going to do to his opponents.
Thank you very much to Andriy Rampage Nowitzki.
Spectacular scenes here.
You've got to pass that energy on to your fighters. You know, you want your fighter, your charge, to believe that you know what you're talking about. So if you're going to ask him to do something, he's going to believe, he's going to trust you. You say jump. You don't want him to say hi. You want him to just jump. You know, if he said you can do this, you want him to believe. Well, you know, you don't want to ask a question.
Our next 2 fighters competing this Saturday in a scheduled 10-round contest. It will be for both the vacant IBF International and vacant WBA Continental Light Heavyweight Championships. Let's first welcome from Toul, France. He is undefeated with 14 wins. 4 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Here is Dylan Force Tranquille Collins.
Well, you are looking at the unbeaten French light heavyweight, Dylan Collin, in action against Daniel Lapin on Saturday night. Daniel Lapin, of course, a real big part of Oleksandr Usyk's training team. It is Daniel Lapin's brother, Serge Lapin, who's part of the training of Oleksandr Usyk. And Dylan Collin coming here, former 2-time kickboxing world champion, unbeaten so far as a pro, and representing France, who are doing pretty well in the boxing right now, Andy.
Yeah, they are. They are. The last few years they've been producing some good fighters, and the ones that have come through haven't necessarily been the ones that they would have expected. But as you say, he's got that kickboxing background. He's used to some big occasions. I like the fact that he gave it a try at the grand arrivals yesterday with the interviews. He said, I don't really speak English particularly well, but he tried, and that shows some confidence, because it's easy for us to underestimate that, because we're used to people coming onto these stages and having a smattering of English. It's quite intimidating to walk down the steps from that plane, down the carpet, and then in front of the world's media get asked questions in a language that you don't really understand. So I rated that, because he could easily have just not bothered. But he knows what he's doing, he knows what he's about. I mean, one thing you often see with kickboxers, Johnny, people from kickboxing backgrounds, they tend to be quite upright, they tend to stand up quite tall.
They're quite upright, quite open, the guard is quite open. Klitschko was one of those, and Sonny Manuel Stewart changed them and tightened up that style. You remember they used to knockdowns and they were hit and hurt in many fights, managed to tighten them up. The one thing you can say about kickboxers is they are unbelievably fit. So if you're a fighter, most boxers, traditional boxers, can beat kickboxers if you know what you're doing and if you're fit. If you're not fit, you'll get beaten by a guy of less ability because of their fitness, because of their stubborn determination. But a fit traditional fighter that has done his work will beat most kickboxers if they've not tightened up, if they've not closed that gap. You know, the elbows are wide, they're pretty square on, they're pretty hittable, but they are unbelievably fit. So they'll never test that side of a former kickbox boxer.
Well, Oleksandr Usyk was unbelievably fit against Tyson Fury back in May. He warned that he wouldn't leave him alone, and really, he didn't. He has tremendous fitness, and we're looking forward to seeing him in the ring a little bit later on this evening. Stay with us. We will have Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury working out tonight, and after that, we will have 5 live fights. All part of tonight's workout, all part of tonight's stream here in Riyadh.
Undefeated Dylan Force Tranquil Collin.
Come on, get it!
Hello. Oh, man, what off?
And now we welcome from Kyiv, Ukraine, undefeated with 10 wins. 4 of those 10 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is Daniel Lapin.
Well, there is the towering Daniel Lapin making his way to the ring, and I'm delighted to confirm with us now, joining us, is probably the greatest snooker player of all time. I understand they've started calling you Riyadh Ronnie, because you're always in Riyadh now. Ronnie O'Sullivan, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, good, yeah.
So what brings you here tonight?
Obviously, we're here for the snooker, which started tonight, finishes on Friday night. Obviously, a huge boxing fan, so all the guys together said, right, come on, I put my son out here, because he's a massive boxing fan, so obviously here for the Usyk and Fury fight, but obviously there's a lot of stuff going on in between, so we're just trying to milk as much of it as we can, you know?
So give us the Ronnie O'Sullivan breakdown as to what's going to happen on Saturday. Are you backing Tyson to get it done?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Fury's an amazing boxer, one of the greatest fighters of all time. He's a light heavyweight, and to come and do what he's done in the heavyweight, that's an all-time great. But for me, Fury, bigger man, great feet. I like Tyson, we're kind of exchange protect there again, so our loyalties are there. But I think it's going to be another great fight, but I just think maybe Fury's had a better chance this time. Yeah, I'm going to go with Fury. It's going to be a good fight.
Ronnie, I've watched a lot of snooker down the years, and what's always really fascinated me about it is the kind of mental aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting sport from that point of view.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that really fascinates me about boxing as well. I mean, to what extent can athletes from different sports kind of identify with each other? Snooker and boxing might seem to be completely different, but in terms of the mental preparation and the way you all go about things, not too far removed, I guess.
In every sport you kind of got to have your mind on the job. I mean, there's times when you're in the zone and you're just flying and you don't really think of anything, but there's times when maybe you're not actually playing your best and you have to dig in a bit, and that's when resilience comes in and all that sort of stuff. But I think, with these guys, they're so good. They just on autopilot most of the time, and it's like going to the office, like a day's work, so yeah, but sometimes you have to engage the mind and try and keep out the negative thoughts.
And just to point out, Ronnie, the mic in front of you says Riyadh season. Hasn't Riyadh season been incredible? What it's doing for sports?
Yeah, I think it's been amazing, especially what they've done with boxing, obviously it is golf, tennis, snooker as well. So they're just blowing it wide open. And I just think as a
Our
boxing
next
fan,
fighter to the
a lot of
ring
fighters were
competing
avoiding
this
each other,
Saturday
and I think
in a
Turkey's just come in and just gone, you know what,
10-round
I'm just gonna
international
put a stop to
super
that. You're gonna fight
bantamweight
him.
contest.
The prize is so
He will
good.
be
You
challenging
can't refuse
the
it. And he just brought
undefeated
everyone
Reese
all out from
Edwards
hiding, really.
from
So
Wales.
there you're seeing who are
Let's
the real
welcome,
best fighters
coming
in
to
their
us
division.
from
Brilliant.
Liverpool,
Thank you so much for coming to speak to us.
Thank you.
Roddy O'Sullivan, great to see you.
Olympian.
Let's head
Now
back
with a
over to
professional
Thomas
record
Treiber.
of 10 wins, just 1 defeat. 6 of those 10 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the current WBA International Champion, Peter Blood McGrail.
Andy, can I just say, you'd have done him. I think we should do a fight with you.
Well, here is Peter McGrail now making his way into the ring for tonight's workout, and as he made his way to Riyadh this week, he wasn't sure he was even going to be fighting. He is fighting. He's got an unbeaten opponent in front of him in Reese Edwards, and it's a good fight on Saturday, Johnny.
This is one of those fights on the undercard that you think this will get the crowd fired up. This will get the crowd excited, because this young man here, he can fight. And he's a handful. And as I said earlier on, every fighter that's on this undercard will try and make it about them. Even though they know it's not about them, they'll try and make it about them.
Well, is that to change, well, who he's fighting for? Of course, he was going to fight Dennis McCann, who's a completely different style to Reese Edwards. One's southpaw, one's orthodox. How could that be affecting him, Andy?
Honestly, I don't think it will, particularly because he made a good point yesterday, which is that when you fight as an elite international amateur, you go into a tournament and you don't necessarily know who you're going to get in the next rounds. You'll know who you get in the prelims, you'll see the draw, but beyond that, it could be anyone, and you need to be able to adapt. And sometimes you'll find yourself in with someone new, unseeded, who you haven't seen before, and you need to figure it out on the job. Pro boxing and amateur boxing are different, of course, so one of the things is that you do, generally speaking, get to spend time preparing for a specific opponent, but he will be capable of making this adaptation to somebody new. He just will.
Well, I don't think he wants to do an awful lot.
Peter Blood McGrail.
A little bit of shadow boxing, a few photos. You can see Paul Stevenson, of course, in the corner. What a year he's having. What a couple of years he's having. The trainer, of course, of the Red Triangle Gym, Nick Ball, world champion, Andrew Kane coming through, and Peter McGrail here to make a statement. Let's head back to Thomas Treiber.
Our next 2 fighters competing this Saturday in a scheduled 10-round contest. It will be for the vacant WBC International Featherweight Championship. First, we will welcome from Edinburgh, Scotland. His professional record consisting of 14 wins, just 1 defeat, 1 draw, 11 of those 14 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former British, Commonwealth, and European champion, Lightning Lee McGregor.
Well, draped in the flag of Scotland, here comes Scotland's finest. Lee McGregor arrives in Riyadh. He raced to becoming English, Commonwealth and European bantamweight champion. That was a few years ago now. He's been a little bit up and down since then, just finding his way again. And actually, when the first fight happened between Fury and Usyk, he was boxing on the same night in a hotel in Scotland. Look at him now. In time for the rematch, he's on the undercard.
That's the thing about this sport, isn't it? You just never know what is going to happen next. He does have good pedigree, we know that. He was a really good amateur. He was making good strides as a pro. He was well backed. Everything was looking good for him. Bantamweight, I think, was hard for him to make for quite a long time. He maybe stayed there a bit longer than he should have done. He picked up a defeat, and he's drifted a bit. Like you say, he's drifted a bit. But so long as the belief hasn't left him, so long as the ambition is still there, then he can really do something. And he needs to look at this as potentially the start of chapter 2 of a new stage of his career. It's the perfect fight for him, because it's a good fight. It'll really get his juices flowing, and it'll be a meaningful win if he can get it, because Isaac Lowe, he's got a good record, a good resume. Only really good fighters have beaten Isaac Lowe. So if he can get it done, Lee McGregor, then he can kick on.
You've got to also look at what's going on in the personal life of a lot of fighters, and that usually reflects itself in the ring mid-fight. And so we can all make assumptions about what a fighter's got left or if he's good enough or not. But I think once they sort out the basics, the groundwork of their personal life, then you'll see the results manifest itself in the ring. And fighters like this young fella here, he's actually a very talented young man.
Thank you very much to Lightning Lee McGregor.
Well, Lightning Lee McGregor will be hoping lightning strikes on Saturday night as he takes on Isaac Lowe. Fantastic fight on the undercard, plenty of needle in the build-up. It's been built up for almost a year now. It's been scheduled. Finally happens on Saturday.
And now let's welcome from Morecambe, England, his professional record consisting of 25 wins, 2 defeats, 3 draws, 8 wins, coming by way of knockout. He is the former Commonwealth and WBC International Champion, Isaac Westgate Warrior Lowe.
Here comes Isaac, the Westgate Warrior Lowe, and Johnny Nelson once again is moving and grooving. This is your playlist hooked up to the speakers here, I'm sure of it, Johnny.
So Isaac Lowe, you'd say he's a mini Tyson Fury. His attitude, the trouble causer about him. This young man, he will try and steal the show. And you know him and Tyson Fury are actually mates. You won't believe that, the way they talk about each other, but actually Tyson's a big fan of his, and I'm actually interested to see how this one rolls out. He said this one's going to be a little bit of a war.
No, it's fantastic, and you see, he was by Tyson Fury's side in those dark times when Tyson Fury was coming back from 30 stone or whatever he was. Isaac Lowe was always there by his side, training with him, motivating him. He's played a big role in the Tyson Fury that we see today. But Saturday night is about him. Saturday night is about his career and picking up what would be the best win of his career.
And he was good last time we saw him. He produced a good performance, got the late stoppage. And when you look at this record, it is an interesting one because he's got those 3 draws. They were all in title fights. One was an English title, another was a British title, another was a European title. So if things had gone slightly differently, Thomas could have been announcing him as a former British, Commonwealth and European champion. Yeah, and that's a really high level. And the 2 fighters he's lost to, Luis Alberto Lopez, was on his way to becoming a world champion. At the time we didn't know too much about him. And then Nick Ball at Wembley, again, he's now gone on to become a world champion. So he's only lost against really good fighters. And with just around here or around there in a different direction on an odd scorecard, his capture, his resume can be quite different. So he's definitely got ability. He's always had ability. It's a really good fight, it's a really good fight.
It's a really good fight. As Isaac Lowe, I'm here ducking and diving, trying to get out of the way of them shots. I wouldn't want to be Lee McGregor.
Doesn't he?
He does.
Look at him, look, he's having fun. Like Andy said, he's going to think this is all about me.
Thank you very much to Isaac Westgate Warrior Lowe.
It's been excellent in the build-up to this fight as well. Isaac Lowe, I've seen several interviews. He gives a good interview, speaks very well. Let's head back over to Thomas Schreiber to keep tonight moving.
Our next 2 fighters competing this Saturday in a scheduled 10-round contest. It will be for the vacant WBA Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Let's first welcome from Doncaster, England, his professional record, 23 wins, 6 defeats, 2 draws, 18 of those 23 wins coming by way of knockout, known as the Doncaster de la Hoya, David the White Rhino Allen.
Well, you can call him the Doncaster de la Hoya, you can call him the White Rhino. What you have to call him is the step up in the career of Johnny Fisher on Saturday night. Here comes the White Rhino.
It's a good match, this, because we know what we think will happen. Johnny Fisher is a fighter on the rise. He dealt with Alan Babbage in his last fight. He's stepping up in levels and he's doing it well. And they're prepared properly. And he will turn up on the night, Johnny Fisher. I don't have any doubt about that. I really hope that Dave does too, because he does have ability. He's always had ability, and he's always had a lot of grit. Some of the fights he took earlier in his career, if he'd been better advised, obviously he wouldn't have taken, because he took some real punishment, and he travelled away in sparring and did the same thing. So I think if he'd been advised better earlier in his career, and maybe he worked a bit harder in the gym himself, then maybe he could have won a few titles. But that's all ancient history now, and he wants to finish well. He's got Jamie Moore in his corner. Jamie wouldn't be wasting his time on someone who wasn't going to put the effort in. And if he's trained properly for this stage, then this could be a lot of fun, this fight. It really could.
And this is a Dave Allen with a full training camp. He's had weeks and weeks and weeks to prepare for Johnny Fisher, a fighter that he is much more experienced than.
So Dave Allen turned up to train with Jamie Moore fit. Jamie Moore usually said he turns up unfit and he's been normal most by the time getting fit. I know Dave Allen. Dave Allen used to be in our gym, and as a young man coming through, it was always tough. Always rugged, always willing to get in the tear up, and his toughness to me is his strength. There's many guys that have got in with Dave Allen and he's just worn them down. He knows how to hold man a fighter in the gym. And Johnny Fisher, I just spoke to Johnny Fisher today. Johnny Fisher had actually sparred with Dave Allen when he was 19 years old, and Johnny Fisher said he was so fit. I looked up to him. This is a guy, I'm fighting one of my idols. He inspired me. I think Dave Allen reminds me of a northern version of Johnny Fisher. He's a fan favourite. He's that kind of guy.
The White Rhino Allen.
He's certainly a bit of a fan favourite, a bit of a folk hero is Dave Allen. A very likeable man. He's been very vulnerable with the public in the past, very honest, very open, and very much on the big stage on Saturday. Who would have thought it? On the undercard of Fury Usyk 2, Usyk Fury 2. Very much looking forward to this fight as Dave Allen just makes sure he soaks it all in.
And now let's welcome to the ring, from Romford, London, England, undefeated with 12 wins, 11 of those 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is Johnny the Romford Bull Fisher.
Well, one big bosh is what we're expecting on Saturday night if Johnny Fisher gets his way. From Romford to Riyadh, he gets his opportunity on the biggest stage of them all to show the world what the fuss is about. Young Boxer of the Year with the British Boxing Writers, seems to carry a lot of power, came to the sport very late, but is doing very, very well in the sport.
He's moving nicely. Unusual route into sport. He studied history at university, an intelligent guy, grounded. He understands the task ahead of him. He's got a very solid team around him, a very solid heavyweight team as well, experienced in heavyweight boxing. He's given assignments, he's given tasks, and he looks to accomplish them a step at a time. It's a very sensible way to go about things, and he understands the reality of the business he's in, particularly at heavyweight, where if you get caught with one, then your lives are getting turned down. That's just how it is. But in his previous fight against Alan Babbage, the idea was that Babbage would test him out. That didn't happen. He got him out of there really, really quickly. And he's the kind of guy, Johnny Fisher, who he's like a sponge. You get that feeling, isn't he? That he really listens to what people tell him and tries to put the advice into practice. You probably don't need to tell him anything twice. He will then go around trying to perfect whatever it is that you're advising, and that in itself is incredibly valuable.
Without a doubt, he's working with Mark Tibbs, a very knowledgeable man to have in your corner, especially in your ear. Johnny Fisher's a very intelligent young man. This young man knows his expectations, he knows what he wants to do. Thinks about the game, as Andy said, and he knows Dave Allen. He knows what he's attempting to get out of this game, but he also knows he's in a position as a heavyweight to gatecrash a party. Even at on a domestic level, there's so much opportunity there for him, and I think with Mark Tibbs working with him, advising him, guiding him in the right direction, couldn't get any better.
The Rockford Bull Fisher.
Well, Johnny Fisher had a great line at the press conference when talking about a fight with Moses Italma. He said, I may not be Man City, I may not be Real Madrid, but what I am is a wet, rainy night in Stoke. He knows what he is, he knows what he can do, and Saturday night is a real chance to show it. And I'll tell you, I think they're going to like him here in Riyadh. He's got the power, he's got the charisma.
And on a cold Wednesday night in Riyadh, he's coming in a vest, and no one else has done that, have they? That's a bit of a flex by itself.
It certainly is.
Our next two fighters competing this Saturday in a scheduled 12-round contest. It is a final eliminator for the WBC Super Welterweight Championship of the World. We will first welcome, coming to us from Leeds, Yorkshire, England. He brings a professional record consisting of 13 wins, just one defeat. 6 of those 13 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is Ishmael, the Black Panther Davis.
Well, here comes Ishmael Davis. Opportunity keeps knocking at his door. He opens the door. He says, yes, please. And him saying yes, please means he's in a final eliminator for the WBC World title on Saturday night against Sergey Boachuk. It's a fantastic fight. It's a tough ask, but he's here and he's ready to go.
You know what? He's one of the few fighters that I know lives in the gym. He's always fight fit. You give him a week's notice and he'll come and he's gym fit. You give him a week's notice and we fight fit. That's what I used to do. That's how I got my opportunity to become British champion, to become European champion. At times like this where things in the hold and people think, you know what, short notice that'll do. He can cause problems. When he boxed Josh Kelly, it was the last thing he expected. He's got to stand in. Even if the whole corner team didn't turn up because they thought he was a pushover, he gave Josh Kelly kittens. And so now he's in that position again to capitalise and come up to Christmas. He's going to then try and gatecrash another way through. You can't write this young man off. Yes, the stakes are high, but don't write him off because he'll show a good account of himself, and he's very, very fit.
Absolutely, and that good account, he gave a great account of himself against Josh Kelly, so much so that here he is. He's back in Riyadh on the next show, pretty much. But it's a tough fight on Saturday, Andy.
It is a tough night. There's no getting away from that, but as Johnny said, you have to admire the way that he stays on weight pretty much all of the time, because against Josh Kelly that was set at middleweight and he's a super welterweight, Ishmael, so you think to yourself, okay, that makes sense because he hasn't had too long to prepare, but he hasn't had too long to prepare for this, but he's going to hit weight at super welterweight, and therefore it is, as we hear, the final eliminator with the WBC. One thing I'm curious about, Johnny, with regard to this fight for Ishmael is that Josh Kelly and Sergey Boachuk could not be more different in terms of their styles. He had to chase Kelly down, try and cut off the ring and get to him. He had to really kind of try and pace the 12 rounds in a different way, because you don't want to chase somebody, hit fresh air and then gas. And maybe he should have picked it up and made it a bit hotter, a bit sooner, but he did get to it towards the end, and he would have walked away with a lot of positives. positives. With Bohachuk, he won't have to look for him. He's got a Ukrainian who will walk him down right from the first spell. It's completely different.
And that's why it is so different, and that's why you can't write him off. He's not going to have to go looking for it. It's not going to be tiddlywinks. It's going to be blind man's buff. It's going to be one of those fights where my will is against your will. You're a skilled fighter, you're a strong fighter, but so am I. And you're giving me something to hit. You're giving me an opportunity. This is a great opportunity for him to shine. Or you know what? Go out on his shield. But I think he'll try and shine.
And by the way, Ishmael Davis, he's had some life. He's got some story. He spent some time in prison. He found boxing. And it's that old story of boxing coming along and changing the life of a young man. This young man has the ultimate stage on Saturday. The ultimate chance. Let's see if he can take it.
Thank you very much, Ishmael, the Black Panther Davis.
And Ishmael Davis just getting a few more snaps in, expecting his opponent Sergey Bohachuk in the ring very, very shortly. It's a final eliminator for the WBC World title.
And now let's welcome a native of Vinnytsia, Ukraine, now fighting out of Los Angeles, California, USA. He brings a professional record of 24 wins, 2 defeats, 23 of those 24 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former WBC interim super welterweight champion of the world, Sergey El Flaco Bohachuk.
Well, here comes Sergey Bohachuk, of course, in action on Saturday night against Ishmael Davis. And look who's joined us. Goodness me. From Romford to Riyadh. How are you, Johnny?
Good, thanks, Dave. How was that standing on top of that plane last night? Was it good?
It was okay. It was okay. Yeah. I mean, it was quite scary, if I'm honest, mate. Would you do it?
No, but I was very impressed with your punnage that you used there. Very good language.
Yeah, there was almost too many. Almost too many. What are you thinking? This is your old mate, Dave Allen. Your first guy that you ever sparred. Serious fight. It's the step up, Johnny.
Yeah, well, I was just talking to Jimmy Tibbs down there, and he said Henry Cooper never got to do this. Any of the fighters at that time never got to do it. And I'm just very grateful and honoured to be here right now. But if I'm grateful, I've got to give my best performance as well, and that will show how grateful I am. And I'm expecting to win on Saturday night.
And by the way, I know you're taking it in as well. I watched an interview with you earlier where someone asked you, what do you know about Riyadh? Just like a throwaway question. You started coming up with all these facts. Tell us something. What do you know about Riyadh?
Not too much. Listen, it only takes a little look on the internet, but it started regenerating itself in the 1950s. It used to have some old...
It's a historian.
Yeah, we used to have some old walls and fortifications which have slowly been taken away. And it's interesting. It's only been around for 50, 60 years, but something tells me this is going to be the future of entertainment in the Middle East. It's amazing. It's amazing to be here. I've never seen anything like it. And I've been to Vegas many times. This is another level of a scale, you know?
I told you, they're going to like him here, Andy.
Absolutely. And that, joking aside, you do your research when it comes to everything. You prepare thoroughly. You want to know what you're getting yourself into. And that's the way to do it in all professional sport, and particularly boxing. You've always seemed to me like you live in the real world. You've got to grasp on the business you're in and what can happen in there. And all you can do really is control what you can control, which is to prepare as best as you possibly can 100%. And give yourself every chance.
That's it. And listen, you do your research on your opponent, like you said, with anything you do in life. But on the other side of that, you don't let that take over what you're doing. You have to focus on what you're going to do, and you've got to be in the moment as well, I believe. And you've got to react and respond in the moment. You can research as much as you want, but it's what you do on the night that counts.
He's not just a pretty face, is he? It's one of those guys.
I'm definitely not a pretty face. I've got to have saying, so I've got a bit of brains instead.
Right. Where is he? Where's your dad? Where, has he cleaned out the Chinese? There's like a whole Chinese area here.
Well, I went to see His Excellency yesterday. He came up to me and said hello, and he was more interested in my dad then. And also, my dad's still on his way. He's had a little detour to Dubai first, so no doubt he'll be stuffing his face over there, and then he'll make his way to Riyadh on Friday morning. So I'm sure there'll be a bit of commotion when he arrives, as there always is wherever we go.
I'm sure there will. Brilliant speaking to you. Thank you so much,
Thank
Johnny.
you very much,
We're going to let you go. Best of luck
Good to see you, my friend.
on Saturday.
Thank you.
Let's head back over to Thomas Triber.
Our next two fighters competing this Saturday in a scheduled 10-round contest. It will be for the WBO Intercontinental and vacant WBA International Heavyweight Championships. We will first welcome to the ring from Gold Coast, Australia. His professional record, 22 wins, just 1 defeat, 14 of those 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the former Australia, former WBO Asia Pacific, and former IBF Intercontinental Champion, Dempsey the Tower McKean.
Well, Dempsey McKean, known as the Tower. He is 6'6". He is a southpaw, and he has his own ambitions as he arrives here on Saturday night, and he wants to stifle the progress of Moses Itauma. It's the biggest test on paper of Moses Itauma's career. He's only been beaten once, and that was by Filip Hrgović in the final round. He's very composed, he's very confident heading into Saturday.
This is one of those fights where if you know the game of boxing and you understand about the matchmaking of your fighter, you want to develop him, you know he's at a certain stage, past the bump over stage of giving him a bit of a knockoff, you want to develop your fighter. This is a dangerous fight for Moses, and Moses, I think he plays a big part in the heavyweight landscape in years to come, but this is part of his development, this is part of his growth, this is part of him potentially becoming a world champion if he's going to be one. So if there's any flaws, any cracks, anything that we can pick apart, we'll probably see it on Saturday night with this man here.
There's plenty happening in the boxing in that part of the world. Of course, Sky Nicholson, world champion Jai Opetaia. Joe Parker about to challenge Daniel Dubois on February 22nd. He's already been a world champion. It's a good time for boxing down there.
Yeah, it is. He's been sparring Jai Opetaia actually in preparation for this. Last time we saw him against Filip Hrgović, he had Tony Sims in his corner. He spent a lot of time in England. He sparred Anthony Joshua a lot. It looked like he might get that fight actually that year, and in the end he didn't. He's now back in Australia. But as you said, he has his own ambitions, and we'll see what kinds of questions he can ask of Moses Itauma on Saturday. He's done everything that we could have expected of him, Itauma, and he's done it really, really well. But at some point, something is going to happen. Either he's going to have a little bit of an off night, or he's going to pick up an injury mid-fight. He's going to clash heads with someone and pick up a cut, or he's going to break his hand early on, and he's going to have to cope with that. Something is going to happen to him at some point. It won't all be plain sailing. And in a sense, you don't even really want it to be. Whether McKean is capable on pure boxing terms of causing him too many problems, we'll find out on Saturday. But you look at him in there, he's got good shape, he's experienced, he's big, he's robust, and he believes in himself.
He most certainly does, and he's going to need to believe in himself. I saw the face-off between Moses Itauma and Dempsey McKean, and he was very confident indeed. And look who's joined us now. Delighted to be joined by the man they call the Wrecking Ball, world featherweight champion Nick Ball. How are you?
All good, Dave. You?
Yeah, I'm good. I feel like I'll keep seeing you. I've seen you pretty much every day this week. We did a presser last week.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Yeah, just there's a lot going on. It's good to be a part of, and coming to experience it all. Yeah.
So Peter McGrail, very much your man. It's not the fight that he was scheduled to have, but it's a fight against an unbeaten fighter, very much coming to win. Give us your thoughts on this.
Yeah, it's a massive opportunity for him, innit? But Peter's more than ready, no matter who it'd be in the ring, so it doesn't really matter the same outcome, yeah, but it's the best shape I've ever seen him in and the most focused, so I'm looking forward to seeing him in action.
Thank you very much.
It's a bit of a strange one for me with Peter McGrail, because I watch him a lot in the amateurs, so I feel like I know how good he is, but I wonder whether people in general do realise how good he is, because he picked up that one defeat and people are really quick to write somebody off if they get beaten early in their career, but in terms of his technical skills, he is right up there.
Yeah, that's it, that's the sport we're in, innit? People just write it off, and that's life, innit? But this is his opportunity to show them what he's really about, and you're not
And
getting
now let's
no bigger
welcome
platform
to
do it,
the
so
ring
it's going to be
from
good.
Chatham, Kent, England. He had a stellar amateur career and now as a professional is undefeated with 10 wins. 8 of those 10 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the reigning and defending WBO Intercontinental Champion, Moses Itauma.
No, I don't worry. I tell you, I'm a man who believes.
Well, here
that
comes
I died
the
20 years
coolest
ago.
man
I look like
in
a man who
Boulevard
did already.
world.
I have no
He
fear
is calm,
whatsoever
he is
of
composed,
anybody
and he
or
has all the
anything.
makings of a future world champion. Just 19 years old, Moses Itauma, making his way to the ring ahead of the step-up on Saturday night against Dempsey McKean. He hasn't put a foot wrong yet. Nick, I'm keen to get your thoughts. What do you think of Moses Itauma? Wonderful talent.
Yeah, he is a top fighter, and he puts the work in as well, and it shows in his fight. So, yeah, he's going to smash it again, I believe.
You believe he gets the job done? Knockout over Dempsey McKean?
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Well, he spent time in this camp sparring with Tyson Fury. He says he's gained invaluable experience from that, not just the sparring, but also just being able to sit and talk to Tyson Fury and take in some of the knowledge.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it. That's a big part of being on these cards as well. You see how other people go about their business and how they prepare. The lads aren't hanging around tonight, are they? Like a lot of the fighters have got in there, had a little shake out, the shadow box, and then they're back out again. And it's what we were talking about earlier on. I think you either get in there and keep the heart rate up, get the heart rate up and do a little bit of a workout, or you get in there and you do nothing. Because there's no point in doing anything in between. Because if you get a sweat and then you cool down, that's when you could get a cold. So you want to either go in there and do nothing like he's just done there, or you've maybe got a slight sweat on backstage, come out, continue it, but keep it quite short.
Nick, brief last words for you. How are you going to do against TJ Doheny in March?
Like I always do. Yeah, all action, and Nick will win.
Lovely speaking to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Moses Itauma.
Well, that was Moses Itauma. Let me ask you this, Johnny. He didn't give us much in there. We was talking about this. Would you give much at this stage of fight week?
Fighters don't want to give anything at this stage of a fight week. You get in there, you do what you're contracted to do, you do as little as possible. Moses came in, must have thrown about half a dozen punches, waved and wanted to get out. And the kind of kid he is, he's not one for the limelight, and they're probably going to have to work on that side of his armoury, because he can be potentially a star of tomorrow. But you've got to be able to communicate to the fan base out there. He just wants to fight.
Just wants to fight. 19 years old. The whole world is in his hands. It felt like that win over Marius whacking him in a way that no one has in his career so far. 2-round demolition job. That was quite something, Andy.
It was, and people didn't really expect it, and I don't think Marius Whack really expected it. The look on his face when he got taken down was, as I said yesterday, slightly like he'd seen a ghost. But we welcome him now, trainer to Moses Itauma, Ben Davison. Ben, good to see you as always. We were just extolling the virtues of your man and how he's done everything right so far, Moses. And I was saying earlier on that there will come a night, though, where he has to contend with something, whether it's an opponent who really tests him, or whether it's a cut, or whether it's some kind of injury, some kind of adversity. It's coming, isn't it? We just don't know what form quite yet.
It's not a case of if, it's a case of when. That's part and parcel of boxing. It takes more than just skill to become a champion, certainly to remain one. So these are things that you've got to be able to overcome, and we're confident that Moses is able to do so.
How good is he, in your opinion?
I genuinely do think that he's got the capabilities and the skill set and the talent and the mindset and all of these things to not only become a champion, but to become a long...
Incredible scenes here in Riyadh, Boulevard World. I think he's gone past 3 different countries already.
I just want to see who's rowing.
big moment for him on Saturday, Andy. Big moment. He may be playing it down about regaining those titles, about getting revenge, but it's pretty big. It feels important in the career of Tyson Fury.
It's massive. He can play it down as much as he wants, and he can say that he hasn't really taken time to process a defeat because his boxing meetings can happen. He's been obsessing about this ever since it happened. Morning, noon and night. Morning, noon and night. Because all he's known is winning. And I know he's got that draw on the record, but we all felt that he deserved to get the decision that night. He certainly, in his mind, would have put that down as a victory. And then you lose by split decision, and you're going to hate it. You're going to hate every single second of it. And that's what makes these people who they are. They cannot accept it. They will not accept it. They have to put it right. It's as simple as that. He has to put it right on Saturday. Because if he goes 2-0 down against Oleksandr Usyk, he's got to live with that for the rest of his days. And that would be a very, very hard thing for somebody like him to do. It's a tragic flaw in a way. Elite level athletes, particularly fighters, is that they're so incredibly competitive and have so much of themselves. Even if they come fractionally short at the very highest level, and me and you can say, but what a great fight, what a great effort. You must have been proud to have been a part of it. They'll look at you like they're going to kill you. Because they can never be proud of a defeat under any circumstances. It's just how they are.
But here's the thing. There's been a lot of talk about how's he going to bounce back from a defeat? How does it affect him mentally? He thinks he won. He's got people around him that thinks he won. One judge had him winning.
Okay, he doesn't. He doesn't. And listen, he's a very good student of the game. And no matter what he tells you or I, you know, he knows the game better than most out there, better than everybody in his corner. He doesn't think he won. And the reason why he's come back with the attitude he's got, with the chip on the shoulder that he's got, because he knows the fact this man made him look bad. This man made him eat his own words. This man that he said could never beat him. And that's because he blames himself for that. And when he blamed himself for that, now he thinks I'm going to fix this. Now the loss was either going to make him or break him. Hopefully, it's made him. And we'll find out this week. We'll find out when he gets in the ring. We'll find out when he speaks face to face with Usyk. We'll find out. Or when the first ball goes, we'll find out if the last fight's broken.
Well, Tyson Fury looks very deep in thought, and we're going to bring in a man who is very curious about Tyson Fury. Alex Krasik, give us your thoughts. What are you seeing here in Tyson Fury? Looks very
I see a fisherman from the north, somewhere from Scandinavia.
At the press conference last time, Oleksandr Usyk got Tyson Fury to sign the photo. I'm curious, what did you think in that moment? Johnny Nelson thinks that would be embarrassing for Tyson. What did you think when that happened?
It was an absolutely friendly move. He opened the suitcase, being dressed like a killer. What can you expect there, other than photographs?
You never have a friendly assassin. And that's what he was. He was a friendly assassin.
You know, looking at this, I'm wondering what Sugar Hill is thinking of this, because as his trainer, Johnny, I was just saying to Dad, looking at those pictures, I'm wondering what Sugar Hill really thinks about this boat ride in quite cold conditions.
I'll tell you one thing, Brendan would not have made us do that. None of this nonsense, get in there. I know we just in show business. You get in there, get yourself warmed up, get inside, in and out, do as little as possible. This kind of thing here, I understand you've got to feed the beast, feed the TV. But you've got to understand, this right here is the last thing he wants. It's the last thing. I wonder how Usyk's going to enter. By parachute? By a helicopter? You know, I understand they've got to sell this thing here. But these fighters, this is the last thing they want.
Hey, but this is something we want. This is something the fans want. This is something that Riyadh season wants. Look at these incredible surroundings here.
You mean Usyk's victory?
Hey, His Excellency's talking about cooking a rabbit, so I don't know who wants that.
That's a bit loud here, I'm sorry.
What has Oleksandr Usyk got up his sleeve? Yesterday, he was poking his head out of an aeroplane, spying on Tyson Fury. What is he going to do tonight?
He will smile, joke, train, sing, dance probably, I have no idea for sure. But Usyk is unpredictable, like you see him in the ring, he is the same in life.
It's up to his mode. I mean, which mode he is today. It's a bit freezing outside, so he might be in a very fast-moving mode, you know.
A lot of people are saying that we are seeing a different Tyson Fury this time. This time he seems meaner. He seems to have an edge about him. Do you agree? Are you seeing a different Tyson Fury than what you saw in the first fight?
Yes, I see a completely different Tyson Fury. He's not playing anymore. You see, he's so focused, concentrated. He doesn't even smile, or maybe he does, but we don't see his smile behind his beard. What can I say? This man probably made some homework. He probably realized that spoiling and just distributing his energy everywhere in media, making fun of a training camp is not the best idea. For this reason, he kept it really serious, like like a monk, I would suggest.
Well, he said this time Oleksandr Usyk will meet the Gypsy King, not the guy that he met last time. This time it's the Gypsy King. How does that sound?
Well, it sounds great, but according to my memories, I need to look up in my phone. I think he met the Gypsy King last time as well.
Well, that is Tyson Fury. Just
Do you think this will be a better version of Tyson Fury than the last fight?
I have actually no prediction for this fight. For me, it's absolutely 50-50 as it was in the first one. I give a credit to Tyson. He's supposed to be he looks more concentrated, and most likely he will try to make some repairs in his techniques and tactics. But the thing that I do expect that it's gonna be a way more dramatic fight than the first one. Way more dramatic.
And Tyson Fury taking up this almost monk kind of role means he's limited his social media activity. Alex, normally he posts something and you're there straight away in the comments saying, you should retire, you're a greedy belly, and all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I feel bored this training camp because I didn't have an opportunity to comment anything. So that was a very poor build-up from my side.
So maybe Alex, you are the one that's probably saying the things you'd probably like Oleksandr to say, but you need to try and get under the skin of Tyson Fury. So that's why you're the one that responds.
Well, let's start from the beginning. Oleksandr Usyk was always under his skin, so he doesn't need to get inside. Actually, Tyson tried to do this with Oleksandr, but Oleksandr has an advantage. He doesn't speak fluent English. Way better now, but still, if it comes to an Irish accent, it's really complicated.
It's interesting to hear you say that you feel like it might be a more dramatic fight than the first one. Is that because you think that Tyson will come after Usyk from the bell in the way that he did at the first time?
In Ukraine, we have a saying: the bigger the wardrobe is, the louder is the noise when it falls.
That's an ominous message from Alex Krasic.
Thanks, gents. See you.
Thank you very much, Alex Krasic. We'll let you go. And the man, of course, we are looking at is Tyson Fury, and he says this time is going to be different. This time it's the Gypsy King.
I'd be upset that I was compared to being a wardrobe and not a tree, an oak tree.
I think what we can kind of deduce from what he said there, Alex, is that he said he doesn't want to give a prediction because it's a 50-50 fight, but he feels that it'll be more dramatic. I think he feels like Fury is going to come at Usyk, and it's going to be his downfall, and that Usyk's going to take him out. I think that, reading between the lines, is what he probably feels is going to happen. If we get a more dramatic fight than that first one, then we are in for some contest, because it was so good back in May.
Well, that was quite dramatic there from Tyson Fury. Just stood in the middle of the ring with his arms by his side, looking up, looking around, soaking in what this is. That was quite a moment. That'll be a lovely picture.
I think anybody and his dog will understand and see Tyson Fury's attitude, his approach is completely different. And so if the fight was close enough the last time, Tyson Fury will have done the maths and thought, if I lost. In his head, he believes he lost, but he doesn't believe he was beaten. And there's a difference. If you're beaten by the better man. He lost because he didn't perform to the best of his ability. On Saturday night, if he performs to the best of his ability and doesn't get the victory, he got beaten. So therefore he has an excuse for his last performance. So this Tyson Fury, everybody sees the difference. Even Alex says we see the difference. He's not being braggadocious, he's not getting in your face, he's not being that antagonistic fighter, which makes him a dangerous fighter. He's been able to get away with it with every single opponent until Oleksandr Usyk. And Oleksandr Usyk made him pay the price. So now he has to bring his A game.
That's a really interesting point you make there, because that's a distinction that fighters all make, isn't it? And it's a massive distinction in your minds between an L, a loss, and as you say, being beaten, or another way to term it would be a defeat. A massive difference between losing and being defeated. And he lost, that's in the record books, but absolutely he doesn't feel like he was defeated.
Yeah, and that's how a fighter keeps that mindset. That's that strong, positive mindset. So remember, if you've been the heavyweight champion of the world and you really believe you are the best heavyweight in the world, and then all of a sudden you're beaten, your whole life, your whole existence changes. And it's like a kind of a breakdown and an acceptance that you don't want to accept. So Tyson now going through that transition. He's got to accept he's no longer the best heavyweight in the world. Anthony Joshua's been through that existence. He's had to accept that. So now, this is it. This is his moment. This is that walk along the plank to say, am I really the best heavyweight in the world? Now, did I make a mistake? Did I drop the ball? Was I unprofessional? And that's why I paid the price. Because if he wins on Saturday, he'll never do that again.
Well, very interesting there, Tyson Fury. He gloved up. He's kind of moved towards Sugar Hill, and then he didn't actually throw any punches. He got the gloves taken off shortly afterwards. So got a few photos with the gloves on, gloves off, coat back on, he's off.
Contract. I bet it's in the contract. Get the boots on, get the gloves on. He's done it, he's off.
Well, let's hear from the Gypsy King himself.
Thank you, Adi. Planes, trains, automobiles, now we got a boat. I mean, what other surprise do we have for Saturday?
A lot of pain.
Wow, just like that, dry, pain.
Smash and damage.
There you go. So there's another thing that I wanted to ask you. Last time you were nice and clean shaven. Are we planning on changing that at all for Saturday, or we're still Samson?
A lot of hurt.
Is that the just ongoing motto for this weekend?
Hurt. Serious hurt.
I know we're in the last stretch, so are you basically done with all the chit-chat, the talking, the back and forth?
A lot of damage.
Okay, so there you go. Thank you very much. It was a great workout. Look at all these people that came to see you, so for a lot of damage. Thank you.
Few laughs there back and forth with the short answers, but I think that was completely real. That is a focused, determined, menacing Tyson Fury there. He means business. He's not here to mess about.
No, he isn't. And, you know, because we're used to him, and we're used to Usyk, and we're used to them being quite relaxed during the week, we can forget sometimes what it is that they're actually doing in there on Saturday. It's an incredibly serious thing.
And now let's welcome the defending world champion from Ukraine, a 2012 Olympic gold medalist, now with an undefeated professional record with 22 wins, 14 of those 22 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the undefeated, former undisputed world champion. And this Saturday, the reigning and defending WBA, WBC, WBO, and IBO heavyweight champion of the world, Oleksandr Usyk.
Well, here comes Oleksandr Usyk now in his boat, sailing towards Egypt, just like he sailed through the cruiserweight division, stepped up, sailed through the heavyweight division, became undisputed at 2 weights, and now he has the chance to retain his titles against Tyson Fury.
I like what you did there. Nice play with words, my friend.
You see it.
Very poetic. But again, Usyk has to play the same game, walk the same path, or swim the same waters, or sail the same waters, and get in the ring. What will we see from him? Will he put on a performance, or will he do a Tyson Fury? Do as little as possible, just let the public know where they're here. These guys don't need to show off. They don't need to shout and bawl, because the public know exactly what to expect. Now, and I'm quite sure for Usyk people, the ones that are here that have seen Tyson Fury get in, they've got nothing to report back. They've nothing to report back. They want to see how he moves around the ring. They want to see how he hit the pads. There's nothing to report. They want to hear what he said. There's nothing to report. Now, Tyson Fury is going to do as little as possible. I know we're expecting him up here. I'd be very surprised if he does come up here, unless he has to. And these guys just want to fight. These guys just want to get on with it. I'll be surprised if Tyson Fury hangs about to watch Usyk. He just wants to get on with it.
Well, it's big fight feels with these surroundings here in the incredible Boulevard world in Riyadh. Oleksandr Usyk he's just cool. He's just chilled. He's on the boat. He's looking at a couple of photos, and he's making his way to ancient Egypt, where he will take to the ring very shortly.
I'm just looking over my shoulder because Tyson Fury's sliding away, I think, towards the far side. He's going to weave a route through the pyramids and off home. And as Johnny said, I'm not surprised by that at all, because he just doesn't have too much to say. I don't think Usyk will have loads to say either, because this is the business end. And like I said, we're used to these guys doing a bit of clowning and being quite light-hearted. But what you have to remember is that they're counting down to the bell ringing on Saturday, and they will fight. And there's a lot at stake. And it's not just the titles, it's their personal pride, but it's also, and let's not try and hide from it, it's their health. Things can happen in there. And heavyweight boxing is serious. You've got to be dialed in to the absolute max. And even when you are, things can go badly wrong. You can get hit with one you don't see, and all of a sudden you're waking up in the changing room. So taking yourself into that place, Johnny, as you all describe it, it's exhausting. And that's another reason why you've only got so many of these really big fights in you. He looks super relaxed here. Maybe he is just a little bit more chilled out than Tyson this week, but the fact that Fury is where he is earlier in the week than we've normally seen it, it just tells you the task he knows on his hands with him.
So his mindset right now, if you look at Tyson Fury, he was serious, no nonsense. That's what Usyk did the last time he came in. Usyk now knows he's got the beating of Tyson Fury, so the roles will be reversed. And Usyk wants to make sure he doesn't make the same mistake as Tyson Fury, and keep that professionality about him. And he does. Because I'm quite sure when Usyk had seen, after the last fight, when Usyk had seen Tyson Fury fall out of a bar on his face, he's thinking, this guy's not professional. He didn't live the life. It must have upped his confidence, because he's thinking, look at this man. Now you've got to make it a habit. You've got to make that professionalism a habit, a lifestyle habit. It's Usyk's lifestyle. That's how he is. It's not Tyson Fury's. So he's got to now adapt the habits that he dropped. This is the strength, the mental strength, Oleksandr Usyk has over Tyson Fury.
Well, even though we didn't hear from Tyson Fury, apart from the interview in the ring, I absolutely love that. Didn't want to know. He's not sticking around for Oleksandr Usyk either. He's in a whole different space mentally than what he was in the first fight. Let's just take a moment to watch Oleksandr Usyk's entrance here. I saw the rehearsal earlier. It's pretty dramatic.
It is. It's great. I mean, we saw his arrival yesterday. This is a fighter who's never lost as a professional, and has been in world title fights all the way through from when he was 9-0. Did everything as an amateur. He's lost very few times in his amateur and professional career, and he's been right up at the highest level for such a long time. Although he did tell me earlier in the week he lost his first amateur fight. So that provides some encouragement for youngsters who go to the gym and it doesn't go their way early on. But he just owns it, doesn't he? He wears the mantle of being a champion with real them about them, top fighters. This acceptance of what can happen in there. They know that nothing is guaranteed, nothing is given. I mean, look at this, it's absolutely fantastic.
Disappoint when it comes to entrances, when it comes to theatrics. Oleksandr Usyk always delivers. Well, we may well be in Riyadh, but I'm getting a real Eurovision feel to what I'm watching currently.
I can feel my heart rate raising. It sends a shiver down your spine, this, because you hear this pumping around the arena. It's absolutely breathtaking. And in my head I've just got this vision of Tyson Fury in his car or getting into his car outside and just hearing this echoing and fading in the distance as he drives away from the venue. This is such a fight, it's an unbelievable fight. You look at the two characters involved in it and look at the setup he's given us there, Usyk. It's Wednesday and I cannot wait for this.
These are the two best heavyweights in the world meeting at the summit. It was a split decision that Oleksandr Usyk won back in May. It was a fight in which Tyson Fury had some and plenty of success. Let's see what happens in the rematch on Saturday. It feels like a new Tyson Fury. But the man in front of him, Oleksandr Usyk, you know exactly what you're going to get. And he looks like a man who just doesn't know how to lose.
He does. And you look at these images, this bright blue square of blazing light in the middle of these pyramids, and you've got this fella at ringside just going for it. We could be in the middle of an epic trilogy here. You know, these are the days of our lives covering this sport. They really are. You cannot underestimate it. In 20, 30 years' time, we'll talk about this.
Let's get the crowd here going. Oleksandr Usyk. I'm not sure if he's going to glove up or not. Looks like he's ready for his interview. And we should be hearing very shortly from Oleksandr Usyk, who joins Claudia in the ring. I'm not sure he is quite ready for his interview. Oleksandr Usyk still a little bit of shadow boxing, keeping Claudia waiting and embracing it. And the singer of that band is currently climbing up the rafters here. Incredible scenes here in ancient Egypt, in Riyadh, and I think now we are ready to hear from the unified world heavyweight champion, Oleksandr Usyk. Well, maybe we're not ready to hear from Oleksandr Usyk, because I tell you, this man that we're looking at could well be singing for the next 20 minutes, Andy Clark. He's loving every moment here.
He doesn't want this to end, does he?
He doesn't want this to end at all.
I feel for Claudia doing the interviews in the ring, because she doesn't, you know, it looks like she's going to start and then she can't.
Glory to Ukraine! Слава Україні!
Well, he has got Riyadh rocking It's quite the performance. I couldn't see a harness on the fella, but he's made his way back down. Let's hear from Oleksandr Usyk.
Thank you, Ade. That was emotional. That was epic, that music. Can you share with us who the artist was?
This is Artemy Pivovarov from Ukraine.
The name again?
Artemy Pivovarov.
Did y'all take note? We like that. Now, with that being said, we saw a little bit of a footwork here, and you're known for excellent footwork. So among the talents in the list, what would be higher, boxing or dancing?
Ми знаємо про твої таланти, бачили роботу ніг, але що було б для тебе на вершині? Бокс чи танці?
I think it's dancing.
I agree. So we have a challenge. After, we should dance a little bit more. So we had a chance to see Tyson Fury here. He was
You know, my coach, world champion, is dancing.
I know.
Latina.
Salsa. Ballroom.
Ballroom?
Oh, partner in crime. There we go. We should dance sometime. There you go. So we had the opportunity to see Tyson Fury here give us a little bit of his workout, and he was very monotone, hurt, damage. What do you say?
Ми бачили тут Tyson Fury, потім брали інтерв'ю, і він дуже малослівний був. Тільки біль, принесу біль, нанесу шкоду, біль, шкоду. Тільки ці слова використовують.
Okay.
Well, there we go back to monosyllabic. With that being said, you are definitely a force to be reckoned with in the ring, undisputed heavyweight, and you used to have hair. Now you took your hair off. Does that? We can't see it because it's cold, but I saw it. You have no hair now. So are you more aggressive without the hair or with the hair?
Коли ти став абсолютом, в тебе було волосся на голові. Зараз ти поголив голову, скажи, будь ласка, ти більш агресивний, коли з зачіскою чи без?
Listen, higher have memory.
Oh.
Yeah. First fight, it was в прошлом. In the past. Now, I'm not more aggressive. I'm kind of. Listen.
Just
yeah.
kind of.
Yes. But this is, good, very comfortable in the boxing and in training. But I missed my hair. But after my hair grow, no problem. I like this mirror. Okay. Welcome back.
Handsome as ever. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we shall see you tomorrow. And I think I'm going to follow suit.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ade?
Nice.
Thank you.
Very interesting interview there with Oleksandr Usyk. He's looking forward to one day getting his hair back. Johnny, why are you smiling? No, I didn't even say anything, Johnny. I didn't even say anything, but his hair will be back soon.
There's nothing wrong with having no hair, my friend.
Absolutely not.
I could grow my hair as long as I wanted to if I wanted to.
Exactly.
This is choice.
It's up to you. It's up to you. But what do we think, Andy, of Oleksandr Usyk in there?
Firstly, I thought that was absolutely tremendous work from Claudia Dreyhus, because she was getting absolutely nothing, and then out of nowhere she goes for the hair and got a good answer.
Yeah.
So, I tip my hat to her for that. He's not giving too much away either, is he? He's in kind of playful, mischievous mood like he normally is, but I think he really enjoyed the entrance. He would have thought about that. That would have been all down to him. He's done the design of the tracksuits. He loves all of that stuff. And the guy just like climbing up on the stanchion there and singing the song, he was absolutely tremendous as well. That was real drama.
Yeah.
It was tremendous to watch. He gave us a show there without doing anything in the ring. That's what he did.
He never disappoints when it comes to the theatrics, when it comes to giving us a show, a viral moment, a clip here and there. Oleksandr Usyk, he always delivers, Johnny.
He always delivers, and he's in a great position to do that because it's the unknown. We don't know him. He shows us what he wants to show us. He lets us know what he wants us to know. And that's as far it is. When it comes to fight time, he's in the dressing room. Alex was here. They don't know what he's going to do today or tomorrow. They just know he can perform when it's time to perform. I think the attitude is he's come with a professional mentality. The fight starts, on Saturday night. As far as he's concerned, as long as he stays in a certain lane out of control, he's happy. He's happy with the performance. He's happy with the representation of Ukraine that he's come with right now, and so he's done part of his job already.
Yeah, no, he absolutely has, Andy.
He has, and he's gone. He slipped out the same exit that Tyson Fury did. So that's understandable. And part of that, I think, will be down to conditions. Maybe it is quite chilly, and trainers won't want their fighters outside for too long. But what a setting! What a setting! I loved it. Them coming in on the boats. They always think of something new. We had something new with the aeroplanes yesterday. We had something new with the entrances today. It's just been, nothing surprises you. Nothing surprises you. On which note, here comes Hamza Shiraz.
Well, yeah, nothing surprises me, but I heard Hamza Shiraz was in town.
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
I'm very well, Dev, yourself?
Very, very well. You must love Riyadh. Normally, when you come to Riyadh, you knock someone out and then you go home. Not tonight, Hamza, no? You're all right, yeah?
February 22nd, that'll be happening, God willing.
Yes,
God willing.
100%. Well, let me just get your kind of... I haven't spoke to you about your upcoming fight.
Yeah.
Carlos Adames, WBC World Middleweight Championship. That step up, that world title, it's here, Hamza.
Yeah, no, for sure. And listen, I've been saying to everyone, it's what dreams are made of. I think if I ain't ready now, I don't think I'll ever be ready. Do you know what I mean? And just looking forward to it, Dev. Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting in there and see what I'm all about.
He's a good fighter, Adames. It's a tough task.
Yeah, listen, he bangs. He's experienced. He knows what he's doing. I've got to be on my A game to get the win, and I'm sure you'll get nothing less but that.
It's what we expect from Hamza Shiraz. He tends to go through everyone.
I hear a lot. It's not what you're told. It's what happens in camp. And I hear a lot of what happens in camps. We know the same people, so I know how this young man performs. And when he produces cameos of brilliance inside the gym, I think we have just seen the tip of the iceberg.
And what about this Saturday night? This is the fight, right? This is Tyson's chance to avenge defeat, Usyk's chance to cement his legacy. Tell us your thoughts.
Listen, I know you didn't ask for a prediction, but I'm going to give it straight away.
Give me it.
I've got Fury winning, and I see him dominating, and I know a lot of people don't think that, but I think the way he's gone about himself in camp, the way you just got to look at him. You just got to look at him. And if you know boxing, you know a different man's going to turn up.
There you go.
You know a different man's going to turn up, and I expect a Fury win.
And just the interview that he did in there, I don't know if you saw that.
I just missed it.
I mean, it was like one word. It was damage, pain. I think he said damage again as well.
Yeah.
He's not giving much away. He means it.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's just these little slight changes, not so much physically, but mentally, that gets you dialed in for fights like this. And like I said, I expect him to dominate.
Can I just ask you, you box at middleweight, obviously, but what do you weigh now? Because you look like you're pretty much on weight.
It's a secret.
Almost.
It's a secret.
Okay,
I can't be giving my secrets.
Are you not cold? That's what I want to know.
To be fair, everyone's. I'm all right.
Well, you see, this is it, isn't it? The alpha males are wearing t-shirts. He's got no body fat, and I have. So he wins. He wins.
I'm layered up, to be fair, so I'll stay out of that one. Tell me this: Tyson Fury hasn't spoke to his family. Paris 3 months. His children 3 months. It's a long time. There's a lot of sacrifice. Can you relate to some of that?
Yeah,
I know you took yourself away.
I've been doing that for 4 years with my family ever since I've been to LA. I know it sounds a bit mad, especially at the level I was at 4 years ago, to be doing such a severe thing, but it paid off. It's paying off as well. And Marvin Hagler said back in the day, it's like being in prison, and that's exactly the best way to look at it. And it works for me, and I'm sure it's going to work for Tyson as well.
Do you know what's interesting? When he's talking about that, he says he doesn't want to have to switch between husband mode, dad mode, to beast mode. I'm curious with yourself, because you're not a husband, you're not a father, you're just a beast all the time, right?
I know. I was going to say I can't really talk for him in that aspect, but I suppose the only kind of way I can look at it is kind of being a family man, being around your mum. You do become a bit soft, because I am a mummy's boy at the end of the day. You do become soft, and you got to kind of, I had to kind of eliminate myself from that to understand the mission ahead of becoming a world champion.
A hungry fighter is a dangerous fighter. A hungry champion is an unbeatable champion. And so having that mentality, you've got to create that environment. So if you're a champion, you get all the trappings, you get the fame, you get the glory, you get the riches, big house, big car, everything. But that makes you soft. Because when you've got to fight, and when you've got to dig deep, like a hungry challenger that's chasing you, you've got to have that same mentality. You've got to be as hungry as he is, and you've got to put yourself in that position. So I understand that. I understand Tyson Fury doing that. Many fighters aren't willing to make that sacrifice, and they're the ones that don't stay champion for long.
Well, we're back to Rocky again, fellas. We're back to Rocky. You know, when Mickey says to Rocky, "You got civilized, Rock. You got civilized." It's always the same. Back to Balboa for life lessons. But you know, it is an interesting thing to do, because it always seems to me that when it comes down to it, at that elite level, whether you're going to win or lose, it depends quite basically on how hard you are, how much hardship you can take, how much suffering you can take and suck up and come back. And that's why you make it tough for yourself during camp.
Yeah, no, for sure. Listen, at levels like this, it's all, you're physically almost as strong as each other, you're as fit as each other. It all comes down to what's happening up there.
This February 22nd card that you're on, where you're challenging for, it's unbelievable, Hamza. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, no, listen, unreal card, and I'm a bit upset that I can't watch the other fights. Do you know what I mean? I can't really watch them, but I suppose it's, listen, I've been part of historic nights ever since I've been on the Riyadh season cards. And yeah, huge thank you to His Excellency Turko Sheikh for allowing me to do so. And I've always said, give me the platform and I'll deliver. And hopefully, come February 22nd, I'll put on a barnstorm.
And this Riyadh season, it's changed the whole game, right?
Yeah.
It's changed your life.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, it's got me out of debt. I was in crazy debt. It's got me out of debt, and it's kind of catapulted me from here to here in terms of my career. Whereas without it, maybe it would have took an extra year or an extra 2 years. So yeah, I'm forever grateful.
So what's the plan then? If you beat Adamets, presumably you get that out of the way. You're looking to clean up all these belts, so you're going to go up. You're a big fella. Surely super middleweight can't be too long to do that.
To be fair, and all honesty, I don't know how long I can make middleweight for. I'll maybe 2, God willing, I'll get the win, 2 or 3 at a push. But I think after that, it'd definitely be a move up to 168.
Good stuff. Hamza, I'm sure I'll see you at a big press conference soon. Thank you so much. Great to see you.
Thank you.
The unbeaten middleweight sensation Hamza Shiraz in action February 22nd, challenging for the WBC World Middleweight Championship. I think we're going to head over to Thomas Triber very, very shortly, but just great to see Hamza. Doesn't he look good?
He does. He looks absolutely amazing. That's why I asked him what he weighs, because he doesn't look like there's anything left on him at all, but obviously there is. I might ask him later, see if he'll tell me off camera. I'm just kind of obsessed with these things, to a degree that's not healthy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, Andy. But tell me this, how much do you think Tyson Fury is going to weigh tomorrow?
On weight, you mean on Friday?
Yeah. On Friday, yeah. And the press.
So Tyson Fury tells us 20 stone. I think it'll be near on there. I don't think it'll be 20 stone. I think it'll be just under, about 19.5 stone. When Tyson Fury said it, you know, he said a few things. You know, if he's saying he never spoke to his wife for 3 months and she's confirmed that, okay. So if he's weighing near to that 20 stone, which I also was told a few months ago he was going to come in heavy, he means business.
Yeah.
He means, and Tyson Fury is one of those freaky kind of individuals that can carry the weight and move like a middleweight. He's not got the legs he used to have. He's 36 years old, but the legs he had won't work for him because he needs to walk his way through. Don't try and dance his way through, because when you're carrying 20 stones trying to dance around, you're going to get tired. He's got to step, be offensive, step square, not boxing. Don't rush him. He's actually got to push it to the point where he's close to having points taken away from him. He's got to have the referee saying stop pulling, stop using the elbow, stop hitting low. He's got to nag, he's got to aggress, he's got to get under the skin of Usyk. He's got to get Usyk complaining. If he gets Usyk complaining, that's when you're getting into the head of your opponent. So this weight that he's putting on, the attitude he has, it's got to be the right attitude. Don't do what AJ did. Try and outbox the first fight, you get outboxed. Then he started with a wrestling. You know, Usyk's very good. In the last fight, you saw Usyk slipping under the arms of Tyson Fury. You saw him getting out of the way, and Tyson Fury like trying to catch an heel. So Fury's got to be smart. Box offensively, use the weight, step, don't run. Don't dance back. He's got to be smart. Edge your way in. Make sure you dominate the pace. Because if the pace is taken away from him, like we saw in the last fight, Oleksandr Usyk had him gassed. He had him hurt in the last quarter of the fight. That's where the problem is. He's just got to have the right brains in the corner. If there's any hustlers there, they'll be exposed.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury's no fool.
Well, one thing's for sure, he's going to be fitter, and he's downplaying the camp last time. But it's obvious he had a cut to deal with. There was like a £10 million bounty if you pull out of this fight. You're going to have to pay $10 million. So he had to go through with the fight despite sparring not being what it could have been. Now he doesn't have that. Now he's been able to spar. He says he's been sparring better than ever.
I think this is the first time you're going to see the professionalism of Tyson Fury. Being a champion, there's a responsibility of being a champion. If you all of a sudden think I'm too good, I don't have to do it all, that's when you get turned over. We saw it happen to Prince Nassim Hamid when he boxed Moreira. He thought, I don't have to train like him, I'm the don. He got turned over. You see over and over again, not many fighters have managed to go unscathed. So Tyson Fury's going to have the right attitude.
Well, it's now time, thank you, Johnny, it's now time for 5 live fights, all part of tonight's action, all part of tonight's workout. Let's head over to our MC, Thomas Driver.
Let's first welcome to the ring, Jordan Ellison.
So making his way in now, Jordan Ellison, a very experienced fighter, 29 years old, from Seaham in County Durham, 75 fights into his career. He operates out of the away corner. I don't think he's ever made an entrance to that away corner quite like this, as he weaves his way between a couple of pyramids, just as Barry Jones sits down next to me. But he won't be in any way overawed or intimidated by this. He is a fighter of real ability, the kind of fighter who, if things had been different at the start of his career and he'd had a bit more backing, then you just never know what he might have gone on to do. He's drawn his last 2 fights. Last win was last November.
And now let's welcome to the ring the undefeated Luke Bibby.
Luke Bibby comes to us from Perth in Scotland, 7 fights and 7 wins. Good amateur, Scottish youth champion, senior international, boxing European under-22s a couple of years ago. The same year he won a 3 Nations gold. They've all been learning fights so far. His last one was a 6-rounder back at the start of November in Alloa, a comfortable win against Brian Morena.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to professional boxing action live from Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We get things started with 6 rounds scheduled, and it is an international welterweight contest. Brought to you by Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, with Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions, Bob Arum for Top Rank Incorporated, and Sella in association with Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing and Gold Star Promotions, along with their great sponsors: Saudi Tourism Authority, Saudi National Bank, STC, Dr. Suleiman Al Habib Medical Group, Saudi Airlines, Numu Raba Development Company, Tahuniya, Lucid Motors, and Al Tanfidi. It is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Board representatives in attendance: Robin Smith and Robert W. Smith. Timekeeper is Jason Booth. When the bell rings, our referee in charge and scoring this contest will be Bob Williams. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the blue corner, he comes to the ring wearing gold with white and weighed in officially at 143.6 pounds. Coming to us from Sunderland, England, he is a veteran of 75 professional bouts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jordan Ellison. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the red corner, he comes to the ring wearing gray tartan trunks and weighed in officially at 141.2 pounds. undefeated. He has 6 wins. 2 of his 6 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the fighting pride of Perth, Scotland, Luke Bibby.
Okay, gentlemen, in the event of a knockdown, the fighter standing will go to the furthest neutral corner and stay there. Protect yourself at all times and please follow my commands. Touch gloves, go back to your corners.
Final instructions from referee Bob Williams. And about to get underway here in ancient Egypt, and often you say that. So Bibby with the silver, and Jordan Ellison in the gold and white. Bibby boxing out of that southpaw stance, Ellison orthodox.
Good right hand there from Ellison there.
Interesting start from Ellison. He's looking to try and walk Bibby down a little bit here and put him under pressure. It's not the kind of opening you always see from an away corner fighter, but he's looking quite aggressive.
Yeah, well, we've seen with Ellison over the years, haven't we? Even though his record doesn't really say how good of a fighter he is. He's been a central area champion, you know. And if you're not up to the task, he'll put manners on you. He really will.
Bibby just trying to settle in behind that jab.
Yeah,
he's trying to hook off the jab, takes a left hand to the body.
And he's just got to make sure, you know, after he throws the shot there, Bibby's got to make a little movement. Otherwise, Ellison's going to make him pay for that. If he gives him a target to hit, make sure those hands come back up really fast.
Just moving those feet in there, Bibby, committing a little bit more with them towards the midsection of the round.
And taking the centre ring, and that's good to see, isn't it? You know, that gives you so many more options. Again, though, taking the left hand there of Ellison, coming forward, just squaring the feet up there a little bit. Bibby.
Coming out with that left hook there, Ellison. Nice tight guard. Punched over slightly, worked his way in, then let it go. I think this could be a good fight as it heads down through the rounds.
It's been competitive so far, hasn't it, in this first round? We've just seen a second ago there, nice little double right hook there from Bibby to the body and the head.
There's that left hand again. He threw a right hand lead there, Ellison, then steps in with the left hand and left uppercut on the inside gets through.
Again with Bibby, it's a lot of what the problem is when he's after he throws the shot. So he'll throw a shot and he'll hold his feet, or like the hands come back a little bit low, and Ellison will make him pay for that.
Stop boxing! Step back. Box off.
Final 30 seconds of round one.
Good shot there from Ellison, lovely uppercut through the middle.
Just dipped his knees, dropped his height to throw the left hand to the body there, Bibby, and came straight onto a lead left, a jab there from Ellison. It's been a good opening round this, plenty's landed from both of them. Not an easy one to score.
No, it's hard, wasn't it?
Sets it up well.
There's no Bibby was no trying to send the ring and push him back and do. That's the right thing to do, and working beyond the jab. But again, like I keep saying, what he did after the punch got him into a little bit of trouble, bringing the hands back a little bit low. Just the prime example there, when he did dip the legs, that's the right thing to do, to go down to the body rather than reach. But he brought his hands down low with his legs. As he come forward there, Ellison cracked him with a couple of shots. So that was a hard round to score.
Billy Nelson in the corner there with Luke Bibby looking up above us. That's Josh Whale in there with Jordan Ellison. Good fighter. Got over the line, won that British title after some near misses.
Quarters, 10 seconds. Seconds out. Round two.
a better idea there from Bibby, working me at that double jab. Ellison just timing him a little bit with the single shots. Again, not there, after he throws the shot, just a little step to the left, or to the right, sorry, southpaw. Just a little step to the right after he lets those hands go.
Just pushes out that left hand there, Bibby. He looks nice and relaxed in that stance.